This year I'm turning 46, and while most people would think that's old, I feel like I'm just getting started. I look better, perform better, and have more energy than I ever did in my 20s, and I achieved this while being a dad, a husband, building multiple businesses, and growing a social media presence to millions of followers. So in today's video, I want to share with you the health habits that can have a profound impact on your life. I've divided these habits into the main pillars, which are going to be sleep, nutrition, strength, and optimization. Let's start with the lead domino, which is sleep. It is the #1 performance enhancing drug on the planet. So the first thing is the 12-3-2-1 method, and it is 12 hours before going to bed, make sure you have your final coffee. 3 hours before you go into bed, make sure you have your final meal. 2 hours before going to bed, make sure that you stop all liquids from going into your body. And 1 hour before you go to bed, make sure that you are not looking at any screens. This is a simple system, and it's one of the best ways to not only go to sleep faster, but also make sure that you are going to stay asleep. Next is going to be making sure that you are sleeping and waking at the same times every day. Your body works as a system, and you are the one who trains that system. The more your body understands when it's supposed to sleep and when it's supposed to wake up, the more it will run as a machine like it's intended to. The next is going to be light exposure. You want to be making sure that you get it at critical times, which are going to be in the morning and at sunset. Sunlight is a signal to your body that indicates when it's time to be awake and it's time to go to sleep. This is one of the best ways to start in training the thing that we call our circadian rhythms. Now, when it comes to nighttime, you want to make sure that you're avoiding bright lights when the sun goes down, especially blue light. This means to dim your lights or only have a small portion on so you can start training your body when you intend to go to sleep. If you want to optimize this, you can use red incandescent light bulbs to illuminate your home when you're about to go to sleep, or if it's convenient, you can use candlelight. Now, if you intend to watch TV or use your phone at night, consider investing in a pair of blue light blockers. This blocks the blue light from entering your eyes, which helps you produce melatonin, inducing more sleepiness. It's one of the best ways I know to put my head on the pillow and go to sleep immediately. Now, when you do go to sleep, we want to use our breath to relax our body and our brain gently. A cheat code that I use when I go to sleep is to use deep breathing in and out to make sure that I am gently relaxing my body. So I make sure that when I'm breathing in, I'm counting to about 4. And also when I'm breathing out, I'm making sure that I am gently, intentionally relaxing my body. A lot of people don't realize like how tense they are when they are trying to go to sleep. And when you're using your breath to relax your body, what you're doing is you are intentionally allowing your body to relax, which is gonna help you go to sleep a lot faster. The next is gonna be drinking this sleep tea for a great night of sleep. It is going to be a combination of glycine, chamomile tea, and sea salt. The glycine helps us sleep a little bit deeper, the chamomile allows us to sleep a little bit faster, and the sea salt helps us prevent waking up in the middle of the night going to pee. Next is around 1 to 2 hours before sleeping, take a hot shower or a hot bath. This helps your body cool down, making it easier to sleep through the night. And next, you want to be fixing your environment so you can make good sleep evergreen. This means cool temperatures, blackout blinds or a sleep mask, making sure that you're dimming the lights, a white noise machine or earplugs, and also if you sleep with a partner, making sure that you are having separate covers. And I posted this the other day on X and people were like, oh damn, what if I want to, do a little something with my partner? And I'm just like, you lift the cover and you go give the little tap to your partner and you tell them what time it is. And lastly, you want to evolve into a nasal breather. So breathing through your mouth can disrupt your sleep by taking in way too much oxygen, which ruins your dental health and also contributes to sleep apnea. One of the ways I've been able to transition from a mouth breather to a nasal breather has been using mouth tape before I go to sleep. I know it sounds weird, but being able to tape my mouth forces my nose to breathe. And one of the things that you have to know about being a nasal breather is the fact that your nose is almost like a muscle. The less you use it, the more it atrophies. The more you use it, the more you're able to use it throughout the day. Now, if you're looking to upgrade your sleep, I have a free sleep guide that we use on the protocols that we help our clients 10x their sleep quality. You can get it at the link below. Moving on, nutrition. This is not only for getting lean, it is also for being physically and mentally healthy. The first one is going to be the Japanese secret to getting lean, which is what they call hara hachibu, which means to stop eating at 80%. So most people in Western society want to eat until essentially their belts cannot fit anymore. They want to eat until the point that they're stuffed. Now, one of the best ways that you can eat to get lean, to increase energy, and also improve digestion is to make sure you're eating to a level of 8 out of 10 fullness. We want to leave a little bit of space in between so you can allow for better digestion and also subconsciously cut your calorie intake. The next is going to be eating slowly and mindfully. Now, what do a lot of people do? they look on their phones and they are eating at the same time. Probably when you're watching this, you could be eating as well. One of the things that you have to understand is that your body has these signals that it sends to the brain when it tells it that it's supposed to be time to be full. But if you're eating way too fast and if you're distracting yourself while you're eating, your body's not going to give that signal to your brain and you're going to feel like you're empty the entire time. So eating slowly helps you improve your hunger and satiety signals, and it gives your body that time to communicate to your brain that you are full after eating a meal. Next is getting at least 30 plus grams of protein per meal. Each day, you should be aiming for at least 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Protein is the most thermogenic of all macronutrients, and it is also crucial to healthy aging while keeping us fuller longer. Next is to do the ratio diet, which is getting 90% of your calories from whole single ingredient nutrient dense sources and 10% from whatever the you want. This allows you to eat healthy while having some flexibility and fun, which is amazing for sustainability. Now, when it comes to those 90% of calories, you want to be getting it from these foods: eggs, fish, beef, chicken, Greek yogurt, vegetables, potatoes, and fruits. If 90% of your calories consisted of those particular foods, you would get lean, you would feel fuller, you would be more energetic, and you would also look incredibly sexy. Next is to make sure you're getting at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day. One of the best ways I know to do this is through systems. You're going to be drinking water first thing in the morning. You're going to be drinking water before a meal. You're going to be drinking water after a meal. You're going to be drinking water in between meals. You should have a water bottle in front of you at all times, so it gives you a signal that you must drink water. And something that you're going to realize after being hydrated is, number one, you're going to feel a lot fuller. Number two is you're going to feel a lot more energy, because a lot of times when people are feeling de-energized, it's because they're not hydrated enough. Now, pro tip for this is to add a bit of sea salt to your water or some electrolytes. This helps you absorb the water a lot better into your system. It's one of the best ways to hydrate yourself. Next is to eat according to your circadian rhythms. I talked about it on this video right over here. When you eat at the right times, you train your body to recognize when it should be hungry and when it shouldn't, while you are optimizing your health. One of the best ways to do this is to have your final meal at least 3 to 5 hours before you go to sleep. Have your first meal at least 1 to 2 hours upon waking. You want to make sure that's high protein as well. And then to put your second meal right in the middle. This is one of the best ways to entrain your hunger. I always like to look at hunger as if I'm training a dog. You want to tell it when the times are that it's supposed to eat, and this is one of the best ways to do it, by putting your body on a circadian meal schedule. Next is low key, get adequate fiber intake. Getting your daily recommended amount of fiber helps you control your blood sugar, it lowers cholesterol, it lowers your risk of colon cancer, it supports your gut health, and it keeps you fuller longer. Aside from protein, I think this is one of the most important things that people are missing inside of their diets. When they get more fiber, they just become a healthier person. Now, the next one I talked about briefly, which is eating a high protein breakfast at least 1 to 2 hours upon waking. This improves your satiety, it can prevent nighttime eating binges, and it also regulates your hunger. Low key, it also takes you out of catabolism. Like, your body wants to have protein, especially if you're trying to build muscle in the beginning of the day. If you're trying to like skip your breakfast and just like push everything back, you're not necessarily giving your body the chance to optimize for adequate protein intake. Now, the next one is the one that I feel a lot of people struggle with, and this is setting a hard stop for your final meal of the day. This should be at least 3 to 5 hours before you go to sleep, and one of the things I have to realize is that willpower, especially as you get deeper into the day, it starts to dwindle, it starts to go down, you start to get a little bit weaker. This is why you need a hard stop. So for myself, every single day, I have an alarm that goes off at 6:15 p.m. and I make it as annoying as humanly possible. And one of the things that it tells me is that you're done eating. It's over. No more food goes into your body. And this is not something that you have to do, but especially if you have a weakness like this where it is nighttime binge eating, you can't stop yourself from eating at night, then you want to have as many signals to tell you when it's time to stop eating. And the last one is getting light movement after a meal. So a 15 to 30 minute walk or even 10 bodyweight squats after you finish the meal helps you regulate your blood sugar, improves digestion, and also leaves you feeling more energetic after eating. Next is going to be strength training. So every time you hit the gym, try to get a little bit stronger or try to do a little bit more volume or do both. This is the most effective form of progressive overload, and it is crucial for building muscle and increasing strength. Next, try to take your reps at least 1 to 2 reps before failure. And this is going to help you build strength and muscle by subjecting you to mechanical stress while reducing your risk of injury and overtraining. Number 3 is going to be optimizing your recovery. You build your muscles when you're resting, not during your gym sessions. So the best ways to recover are going to be using a sauna or a hot tub, staying hydrated, prioritizing your sleep, eating enough protein, light movement like walking, stretching, or yoga, or active recovery like foam rolling or massage. Now, the fourth one is a low-key cheat code that I don't feel like a lot of people are doing, which is you can cut your exercise time in the gym by 33 to 50% by doing supersets. Supersets involve choosing 2 non-antagonistic exercises and performing them consecutively with little to no rest. Research actually shows that you can actually make the same gains while spending significantly less time in the gym. These are the main workouts that we use in our Lean Body 90 course. You can check it out in the link below. Number 5 is to walk every single day. The single most underrated exercise on the planet is walking. Even getting an extra 1,000 steps per day can decrease your risk for all-cause mortality. At bare minimum, you should be getting at least 6,000 steps. On the higher end, you want to aim for 10,000 to even 15,000 steps per day. I actually find that 15,000 is the sweet spot, especially if you want to amplify fat burning. Now, number 6 is to engage in at least one type of vigorous cardio per week. This can be sprinting, high intensity interval training, the Norwegian 4x4, or doing a sport that you love. We want to stress our lungs and the heart, much like we do our muscles inside the gym. One of the best ways to do this is through intense cardio. Number 7 is to work on your mobility daily. Lifting weights without working on your mobility is a recipe for remaining stiff for the rest of your life. Every day, do 1 to 2 of the mobility exercises that I have in the link below to reverse the effects of sitting and also reduce stiffness. Next, if you're not tracking your workouts, what the f are you doing? The single best improvement anyone can make that I don't see a lot of people doing is tracking the reps and sets of their workouts. You literally can't get better if you're guessing every single time you hit the gym of like, what workout did I do? Or how much reps did I do? Or how many sets did I do? Through tracking, what we're doing is we're challenging ourselves to lift a little bit heavier and do a little bit more volume. And one of the apps that I recommend for tracking your workouts is going to be strong.app, and I have no affiliation to it. I just use it every single day. Next, when you are lifting, make sure that you keep your eyes fixed. So when you keep your eyes fixed on one single point that's in front of you, preferably what you're doing is you're optimizing neck posture. It allows you to concentrate better on the exercise and also the muscles that you're using. And it also prevents any leakage of energy when you're darting your eyes in different directions. And the final one is going to be breathing the right way. So a lot of times when we think about lifting, we don't necessarily think about like what type of breathing we should be performing. And it's different depending on what type of exercise that you're doing. So when you're performing a compound movement, you want to be breathing and bracing to create intra-abdominal pressure, and this helps you lift heavier weights. When you're performing an isolation movement, you want to be breathing in as you lower the weight and out as you lift it. Between sets, you want to be breathing in through your nose and out through the mouth so you can recover faster and also lower your heart rate. And the final pillar is going to be optimization. So the very first one is going to be getting your blood work checked every 6 to 12 months. And I prefer to get my blood checked with a functional health test. This can be through something like Function Health, SciFox, or Inside Tracker, or Superpower. There's so many out there right now. I don't necessarily like getting it done through a GP because they don't necessarily go as deep as these functional health tests do. Now, things that you want to get checked are going to be your complete blood count, basic metabolic panel, lipid panel, liver function, kidney function, nutrient panel, thyroid function, hormone levels, inflammation, iron. You want to get all of these things checked because it's not enough to just look like you're healthy on the outside. You want to know exactly what's going on underneath the surface. Next, you want to be tracking your sleep and recovery. Now, I would use something like an Oura Ring or a Whoop or even an Apple Watch, and you want to be tracking things like latency, REM sleep, deep sleep, HRV, resting heart rate, and heart rate recovery. Now, I want to add a caveat to this, which is you want to be doing this for probably 6 months. And the reason why you want to be doing that is because I find that a lot of people have this psychological trigger when they see the numbers that they have in terms of their recovery or their sleep, and it doesn't necessarily correlate to the reality of what's happening. Like I could feel amazing and then my HRV says that I should be taking a break. And most of the times I want to be following what I'm feeling and not what something is telling me on the screen. And the reason I say 6 months is because it's going to give you a baseline to show what things are working, what things don't work. And then when you have those things, you don't necessarily need to be tracking it every single day. Then it becomes a little bit of a nuisance. Next is going to be aligning with your circadian rhythms. It's a lot of what we talked about in these habits, but this means optimizing your sleep, eating at the right times, working out at the right times, getting sunlight, and aligning your body to your circadian rhythms, because this is actually one of the best ways not only to be healthy, but also to improve performance. Now, this next one is important, and I'm probably going to be doing an entire video on this, but for now I want to give you an overview of how to avoid environmental toxins. Now, I'm going to go through this very quickly. Limit exposure to plastics. Use air and water filters. Opt for non-toxic cleaners. Make sure you're washing your produce. Ventilate your home. Avoid synthetic fragrances. And remove your shoes at the door to avoid exposure to environmental toxins in the first place. One of the best ways to get yourself healthy is to make sure you're setting up your environment so it's evergreen for good health, and that also means avoiding environmental toxins. Now, this one might surprise you, which is to floss daily. So studies show that people who never floss have a 30% increased risk of death compared to daily flossers. And here's why. Flossing daily reduces gum disease and inflammation, which are associated with an increased risk of heart disease and other health issues. When you have healthy gums, you lower your risk of systemic illness. And now there's this emerging trend in the dental industry showing how there is correlations between your oral health and your physical health. And one of the things that you want to do, especially for your oral health, is making sure that you're flossing daily to get rid of the plaque. And finally, we want to create a healthy mind using any one of these practices. It could be meditation, gratitude journaling, making sure you're continuously learning, which is what you're doing when you're watching this video, hanging out with friends that make you feel great. And a big part to optimizing your mind is actually using the health practices that we listed in this video. So you have to understand that high performance is a habit. And also, depending on where you're starting from, you may look at a list like this and be overwhelmed, and that's completely understandable. Something you have to understand is that I incorporated these over the past 20 years. And one of the best ways is to just choose one habit that's gonna have a significant impact on your health and build from there. We overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, but underestimate what we can accomplish over decades. So take your time with these. There is absolutely no rush. There's nowhere to get to. You want to play the long game for your health, and your future self will eventually thank you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.